Welcome, welcome. If you can hear me, drop a note in chat. Welcome to Camelback, Ruthless Pitches, Local Economies Portfolio. Let us know where you're repping, what city you're in. Hey, Carl, good to see you. Roger, welcome. Oh, I see NYC in the house. Hello from Queens. Hey, Sophie. Oakland, California has joined. Welcome, West Coast. Panhandle State in the house. Scott, welcome. New Orleans, welcome. Tanya, thank you for the well wishes. Lisa, good to have you. Best Coast. All right, we might have some competition for you, Lisa. Gulf Coast is not too bad either. Hey, Derek from New Orleans. Some more NOLA in the house. We love our hometown. Welcome. Big Easy. Hey, Scott. Well, we want to share all things Camelback with you. Hey, Pam, Operation Spark here. Good to see you. Dr. Shake Snyder Davis, welcome. Shout out to Spence and Sharon. We'll give a few other folks maybe about 2 minutes and then we'll get started. Wanda Rose from New Orleans, welcome. Paris is sending a shout out to her dad. That's beautiful. If you're just joining us, this is Camelback Ventures, Ruthless Pitches, the Local Economies Portfolio. We hope you're in the right place. If you're here by mistake, we welcome you to stick around. We're gonna have a lot of fun here. Hey, Stacy, all the way from Denver, welcome. Hey, Jerry, Market 360 in the house, a Camelback alum. All right, we're at 2:05 and we're going to get started. So good afternoon. As I stated before, welcome to Camelback Ventures, Ruthless Pitches, the Local Economy Portfolio. We are so happy to have you here with us this afternoon, and we want you to know that you're in for a real treat. Hi, my name is Nadia Morris, and I serve as the lead for local economies for Camelback Ventures. And on today, I'll serve as your cruise ship director. What you will witness in a few moments is the culmination of 12 weeks of work with 4 ventures. But in fairness to our fellows, many of them began their journey years ago by choosing the entrepreneurial path. And we at Camelback Ventures have supported their efforts by providing capital, coaching, community, and connections. The genius represented here today has a tech solution for anyone who has ever been tired of standing in long lines, for anyone who wants to do business with the government, for those who desire a more equitable gig economy or want to participate in a cooperative economics. So we invite you to open your ears and dream a better world with them. Before I forget, while we're together today, please feel free to continue to use that chat function to introduce yourself, send our fellows some positive vibes, and offer good tidings to everyone who's here on the call today. Before you hear from our fellows, I'd like to invite my colleague and friend, Charles Carprew, to join me center stage. Charles.
Thank you, Nadia, and congratulations to you on all your hard work, and congratulations to all of our local economies fellows and all the work that you're doing in New Orleans and the impact that you're going to have not only in New Orleans but on the world. Camelback's mission is to catalyze the work of women and Black and Indigenous people of color. Yet too often organizations forget the Indigenous people within that statement. We as an organization are committed to learning and working with populations, all of the populations who are shaping the landscape for our communities. In doing this, we want to recognize and acknowledge the land that we reside on. Making this land acknowledgement is also an acknowledgement that our organization's work to bolster Native and Indigenous communities is not done. And we are continually seeking feedback in the areas to improve, including supporting the Land Back movement. In recognition of this, our team has made financial contributions to the United Homa Nation and seedingsovereignty.org. Please feel free to share your feedback with any member of our team and join us in donating. In recognition of the Indigenous and ancestral land we occupy, we take this moment to reflect on our country's history of colonialism with reverence to our Native communities. The Camelback team and offices are on Choctaw, Chitimacha, and Homeland. Join us in identifying what Native land you are on at nativeland.ca. Alongside our team, we invite you to contribute, as I mentioned earlier, to unitedhomanation.org and seedingsovereignty.org. And now I introduce our leader, our dreamer, our thought provoker, the man who thought about how we were going to impact Black and Indigenous people of color who are having opportunities for their genius taken away, and found that Camelback was that path. I'd like to introduce my friend, my colleague, our CEO, Aaron Walker.
Thank you, Charles, for the kind introduction and for leading us through that land acknowledgement. And to Nadia for leading this work. Every day you inspire me with your passion for not only New Orleans, but the fellows that we work with, and to Caroline Luca-Witty for just her unending support and enthusiasm for our team and the work that we're doing and your leadership. And to everyone else who is here, good afternoon, and thank you for spending some time with us and for allowing us to share with you what we have been up to with this group of 4 amazing founders over the last 12 weeks. The Camelback organization and Camelback Ventures is most known for our education work, but a couple of years ago, we just realized that all of these issues are intertwined and intertangled. And that if we're gonna talk about having strong schools and strong education, that means having strong local economies and communities that they live in. And so we launched this body of work because we want to support entrepreneurs across the spectrum who are building our local economies, realizing and understanding that that would have a big ripple effect in a lot of the social issues that we want to change. And so these entrepreneurs will share today their businesses and what they're doing. And I'd like to, before they get started, just take a second to not only thank our team, but also to thank our financial partners who make this work possible. To JP Morgan Chase, who has been with us the last couple of years in supporting this work. Thank you to that team, and specifically and especially to Erica Wright, to Capital One Bank, who has been an amazing partner to Camelback for many years, and in particular the last year supporting this work, and also to Entergy, who has literally helped us power this work. We appreciate you and your commitment to Camelback and to BIPOC and women founders in New Orleans and across the country. Our latest fellowship journey, as you could imagine, has not been an easy one. This is the first pandemic that we have lived through as an organization, and quite candidly, this is the first serious economic downturn that Camelback has lived through as an organization. And so, you know, we've had to pivot, as they say in entrepreneurship land, and embrace all things virtual, and to figure out how we're going to support our entrepreneurs, including the ones that you see here today. You know, we've had to figure out how to apply to PPP and whether we should apply to that or the EIDL, like all the same challenges that entrepreneurs across the country, particularly Black entrepreneurs and people of color are facing, we have faced as well. And so we have a sense of empathy for what they're going through, and understand that, you know, that we're living through some serious challenges in our economic landscape and with public health. But what we also know is that these entrepreneurs are forging through. They're making a path. And so, like many local business owners, these 4 entrepreneurs are struggling to do and figure out the same things that we all are: how to keep the doors open, how to remain equitable employers and grow their companies and grow their businesses. And so, while there are many things to be hopeful as we wrap up 2020 and think about 2021, not only are things like a vaccine on the horizon, but these 4 amazing entrepreneurs and the 4 companies that they are building is what gives me hope and is a silver lining for a lot of the work that we've done this year. So let me just briefly tell you about them and then pass it back to the team. So you'll be hearing from four ventures today who have stayed the course and who have pivoted their business models to meet this moment. You're going to meet and learn about Bypass Line, which was started by Sharon Flowers and Spencer Davis. You know, they are creating a single space location, online ordering that keeps us safe and avoiding lines during this pandemic. You're going to learn today about Biusu, started by Greg Harris, who has found a niche in the market providing delivery services to businesses at a lower cost and more profits that can be shared with drivers and small businesses. You're going to learn about Dollar Pot, started by Myra Barnes, who was inspired to start this company after traveling with her family across Africa, where she learned about the power of harnessing community resources to help people reach their financial goals. And last but not least, you'll learn about Govlier, started by Shakia Kegler, which is a company that is trying to help small businesses cut through the government red tape so that they can grow their small business and government partnerships. We hope you walk away from today's pitches inspired and wanting to help these entrepreneurs. Maybe it's with capital, maybe it's with connections, maybe it's with coaching. Either way, what I ask is that you share constructive feedback during this competition, and most importantly, that you will continue to show unwavering support for these Ruthless for Good entrepreneurs as we part ways this afternoon. Thank you for being here, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Aaron, as always, eloquent, and we so appreciate you as a leader, not only for our organization, but in this space in general. And so we thank you for allowing us to do this work on behalf of the communities and the people that we all care about. So cheers to you. What will follow for our audience as you're following along, there's some money at stake. You know, Camelback likes to put its money where its mouth is. And so our fellows today are competing for a $20,000 investment from Camelback Ventures. Luckily, I do not have the difficult task of choosing who that one venture will be. Aaron Walker and Kelly Salney, colleagues of ours, you just met Aaron, and Kelly serves as our Director of Strategic Partnerships. They will be serving as our judges for this afternoon. You will hear from them following the 4-minute pitch that each fellow presents. And there will be 5 minutes of Q&A from the judges. We invite you to use the Q&A function on the Zoom webinar to ask questions as well. There will be an opportunity at the end for your questions to be asked and answered from the fellows while the judges deliberate. So please engage with us. Our fellows, just like every entrepreneur, they're still learning and still growing. They want to hear from you all about their ventures. They want to hear from you about what you need, what you'd like to see, and how you'd like to engage them moving forward. So without further ado, we're going to actually get on with our pitches. First up, that will join us on the stage is our venture dollar pot. So I'd like to invite who has become one of my sissies, Myra Barnes, to join me. She's a mother, a culture bearer, and founder of Dollar Pot. Myra, welcome to the stage. And let's hear what you got, girl.
Jesus. All right, my name is Myra Barnes, and I am the CEO and founder of Dollar Pot. So in 2017, I traveled through Mother Africa, living in 10 countries, no less than 30 days apiece. I watched African women bring together the little that they had to create a lot. Whether it was seeds, food, and or money, they used collective works to make it work. This affirmed for me that Black women are multipliers. Trust me, I know this personally because I watched my own mother work miracles with $50 worth of food stamps. However, we are overworked and underpaid, with the average annual wage being $38K for Black women and $61K for white non-Hispanic men. Yet we still are the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs, representing 42% of new women-owned businesses. But Black women entrepreneurs receive less than 0.5% of VC funding. We have little to no access to capital and or platforms that we can practice group economics so we can help ourselves. But I believe that I found the solution to this problem during my travels. My ancestors literally left us an economic development process called a susu, and all I've done was modernize it. A susu is a group of people who come together making regular contributions to a common fund, which is then given to one member at the end of each cycle. Dollar Pot has digitized the traditional cash-based system to expand the audience and increase security. So no more paper and pencil in the village. Now this process is available to women all around the world via their mobile devices. Dollar Pot offers online tracking and storage of sensitive information, a payment calculator, a payment tracker, online record of all transactions backed by electronic receipt, and weekly curated financial content so the pots can learn together while they save together. So how does Dollar Pot work? Well, users can establish a new pot and or be invited to an already existing pot via a pot code. The pot must establish pot rules, a savings goal amount, and a pot duration time, which is usually a month, 3 months, or 6 months. Dollar Pot recently conducted market research. Dollar Pot's target customer is Black women between the ages of 25 and 49, income ranging between 30 and 90K, that participate in online banking and money mobile transfers. Dollar Pot's revenue is based on 4 components: subscriptions, ad revenue, transaction fees, and interest earnings. Based on these revenue streams, our projected earnings will be 3.4 million in December of 2022 with 1 million active users. So here's Dollar Pot's 2021 timeline at a snapshot. In Q1, in order for us to reach as many Black women as we can, as quickly as we can, we plan to partner with organizations like Know Your Eight Black, Camelback Ventures, and Black sororities. By Q2, we plan on launching beta testing. By Q3, our projection is to have 240K in revenue. And by Q4, we plan to expand Dollar Pot by adding a crowdfunding feature. Today, we are asking for a $20,000 investment from Camelback. This will help us to jumpstart our fundraising that will ultimately help us reach our goal of 100K. That 20K will go towards paying our developer, PR, because the story has to be told. There's a cultural aspect to this platform, so we need to tell that story, and 5K towards social media and marketing. Again, my name is Myra Barnes. I'm the CEO and founder of Dollar Pot. However, I would have not been able to do any of this without an amazing team of forward thinkers and entrepreneurs. I want to send a special shout out to my Camelback team, specifically my coaches, Terrence Taylor, and Lisa Atia, who have helped me expand my vision and solidify my vision for Dollar Pot. If you are interested in getting in contact with us, you can reach us via dollarpot.org, our social media platforms, or directly via our email. Thank you so much for your time. Have a good day.
Thank you, Myra. Do me a favor, pull up your slides. Just again, we're going to make one tech call because part of it was cut off.
Uh-oh.
So just adjust your frame while the judges are coming in to ask questions. But okay. I want the audience to have an opportunity to see your slides and see all of the information that you provided. So if you just want to kind of put it on
Can we see all of it now?
Let me see, go to the next slide. Audience, thank you for your patience. I appreciate you in this virtual world, sometimes tech.
I'm sorry, guys.
It's okay. No, you did a great job. We're just going to try to work this out. I want to make sure everybody gets all the information.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, Kelly and Aaron, take it away.
You can go first, Aaron. I think you're on mute. You're talking, but I think you're on mute.
Oh, sorry. I'll ask one question that I see someone else also had here in the box. You know, there's some pros and cons to building wealth using SUSUs. What protections have you put in place to make sure that people don't get harmed as part of being a part of a SUSU?
It's such a great question. So, of course, contingencies have to be put in place for things like people pulling out early. So I'm working closely with the developer to make sure that this does not happen. Traditionally, of course, with SUSUs, there's typically a pay-in amount. So whatever you're paying weekly or bi-weekly, you usually pay a little bit on top of that, whether it's an extra $5, $10, and the person who starts that pot will sit on that money as a contingency. We want to implement something similar to that. So if we do have someone who pulls out early, we can cover the payment for that next person so that the rotation can complete. We also want to make sure that whoever leaves early, that they're not allowed to come back in. But before we do any of that, we do want to try to do basic things like pulling out the money. If the money is not there, then of course we'll send an alert letting the member know that we're trying to pull the money. But of course, you know, things like this may arise, but we want to put contingencies in place. This is something that I'm currently working with the developer to establish.
Yeah. One other question, and then Kelly, I saw one of your slides. You said that you'll have about $3.5 million in revenue a couple years down the road with about 1 million users. Can you just talk a little bit about the business model and how are you planning for Dollar Pot to make money on this business?
Yes, so majority of our revenue is actually going to come from subscriptions. So starting off, we'll have 3 tiers. That first tier, you'll have access to 1 pot. That'll be that first tier and it'll be free. The second tier, you have up to 3 pots. So if you want to start one with your family, your friends, your coworkers, you can do so. That particular tier will be $5.99 per user per month. That third tier will be unlimited access to a limited amount of pots. And that particular tier is $9.99 per month per user. We're estimating that 60% of our users will gravitate towards that first tier, 30% of our users gravitating towards that second tier, and 10% of our users gravitating towards that third tier. We're projecting that between February of 21 and September of 21, that we'll have about 240K coming from 40,000 users based on those assumptions.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, Aaron asked the question I was going to ask, but I will, just as a point of feedback, I did appreciate, I love the thread that you did in terms of Black women being underserved, yet growing. It just really honed in on the need for diversified ways for entrepreneurs of color, but particularly Black women, to fundraise. So I just wanted to say I appreciated that piece of the presentation.
Thank you. And I want to just make this very clear. This platform is not specifically for Black men. We are opening, I mean, Black women, we're opening this platform to all people of color. However, that is our target audience because like Kelly just said, we are the most underserved group. So to be able to have something that we can specifically use, I think would be extremely beneficial.
Yeah, I guess one more. I know we're about a minute left. One other question. Thinking about this target audience, you know, Black women, I think you said between 24 and I forget the upper age, you know, having incomes between $30,000 and $90,000. Can you say a little bit more about your hypothesis on like your demographic? Do you think that they're unbanked and this is a way to sort of bring them into more formal banking systems? Do you sort of see this as kind of like a, you know, collective investment for people to do other things with? Like, what's your hypothesis around what's going to be the motivator for people to want to do these things?
So believe it or not, I believe there's two sides of the same coin. So we have a collective group of those who are unbanked, and we have a collective group of those who are trying to work around traditional banking systems. And so I'm looking at the group of people who are trying to kind of work around the traditional banking systems and depending more so on community. It's not, when we look at platforms like Cash App or PayPal, now those platforms are operating as banks. You can have a routing number on those platforms. You can have a bank account number on those platforms. So people are trying to get away from your traditional Bank of America, Chase Morgan, you know, because what we're doing now is we kind of want to take that power back from the banking systems. So, and this is also, like I said, this is very cultural. So this is also a way for us to redevelop community, also redevelop trust within each other so that we don't have to keep seeking help from outside resources, that we can pull our own selves up seriously by our own bootstraps and finally, you know, help each other, lean in on each other.
I'm getting the word that my time is up, so I can always ask more questions, but I appreciate it, Myra. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron,
Thank you.
Kelly, and thank you, Myra, for a job well done. Hi, good to see you all again. Again, Myra, great job. Just want to point out to the audience that, you know, these fellows are working through nerves. For many of them, this is the largest audience that they've competed in front of. And for some of them, it's actually their first pitch competition. So just send all of the good vibes that you can their way. Keep asking those great questions. And let's keep the program moving forward. Our second venture is Me You Sue, which was founded by Greg Harris, a New Orleans enthusiast, father, and serial entrepreneur that is changing the gig economy by supporting driver owners through his app. Greg, please join us on the stage.
Thank you, Nadia, for that great introduction. And yes, Nadia is right. My name is Greg Harris. I am the CEO of Me You Sue. Starting at the top is my fiance, Olga Gale. With her permission, with her permission, I'm sorry. Okay, sorry. Hi, hello, my name is Greg Harris of Me You Sue. At the top, you're gonna see my fiance, Olga Gale. And with her permission tonight, I am not gonna be sleeping on the couch. I'm going to tell her story of over a decade years of working in the food industry and working her way up through multiple levels of management. But unfortunately, due to the economic impacts of COVID, she, along with thousands of others, have become unemployed. But being the go-getter that she is, she decided to give the gig economy a try. She quickly realized most alternatives in the gig industry had limited growth opportunities. She discussed the different opportunities within Me You Sue and how she could not only make extra money, but become an owner entrepreneur. The dark truth about the gig economy is that people at the top take majority of the pie and only leave scraps for the people at the bottom and the drivers. Now, also after Corona, a lot of people still want to support local, but those headquarters are not based locally. Me You Sue is based locally and operated for multiple years, so your money will stay here. And we have successfully completed over 65,000 orders to date. Even though drastically even though with the change, restaurants were not able to accommodate for the drastic increase of to-go orders, nor can they handle the 30% that most companies will charge them. After years of hands-on experience working with my target market, I've gathered a great appreciation for their habits. I know this all sounds great, so you're interested and still probably wondering exactly what Miyusu does, but don't worry, I got you. We connect small businesses in need, no matter the service, with local independent contractors looking to make extra money, making sure to consider them as a partner in the equity exchange, all while fulfilling the people's desire to support locally. As Bill Gates once said, you're not really a platform until other people make more on your platform than you do. Our mission at Miyusu is to make our runners an equitable partner in the gig economy. We have already started building our community of drivers, but now we're teaching them how to become energetic entrepreneurs. Once we do that, and they also have our accountability, so they will create businesses on businesses. Now, when we look deeper at how the profits work, you can see that the gig economy is eating more than their fair share of the pie, but Miyusu changes all that. We increase the profits for the businesses as well as the profits for people like Olga before she even becomes an owner entrepreneur. Miyusu still generates considerable revenue because we have a much larger piece of the pie. All right, now, please bear with me. These shots you're about to see are from our development team at Operation Spark. So it's our foundation that we have completed. So it's not fully, the UI is not finished. So we're going to begin with Olga's journey once she actually gets onto Miyusu. The first stop she makes is to the Miyusu Community Board. This is the perfect place for anybody to stop to grab jobs from our local 15 partners already, our marketplace in development, as well as EasyCater, our national client who has already agreed to help us with a national rollout once we launch the app. So after getting her user rating up and deciding she wants to launch her LLC, she files all the necessary paperwork with Miyusu. Now she has access to what you see as the business backend with all the HR benefits built in to help her build up her staff. And the best part about it, she starts with the Miyusu community that she already established as she was growing up. Now, the last stop for her, though, is to find orders, where she goes to the Miyusu Business Board. Here, she can assign tasks to her drivers. But the best part about that is she makes money now every time she does that. The people on her team love it, and they see her drive, so now they want to follow her steps and complete the circle. So that brings us to the revenue. As you can see, Miyusu, we've already, with our old pricing structure with the flat fee, we were already in the black. But after Corona, we took a hit, but we didn't get that. We weren't down like a great fighter. Now, working with Miss Lisa, we actually came up with a new percentage-based pricing structure that will have us 3 times more profitable than we were before. But once we launch the app, that's where the fun begins. And honestly, the sky's the limit there. So that brings us to the ask. As you can see, we are a machine that is working, but we need a little bit of oil. Thanks to the great investment from Camelback already, as well as the CEO from Operation Spark, I've made it this far and we've already started developing the app. But the money today, majority will go to that app. Also, I'm going to hire a marketing expert, so get some marketing materials, and then pay some other business expenses. But that doesn't get us across the finish line. So we're going to need your help, investors. Open those checkbooks and pocketbooks. And you lady investors out there, we will need you to open that pocketbook as well. So with that being said, judges, a vote for me today isn't just a vote for me, for the Miyusu, isn't just a vote for me, but for the entire Miyusu community. And that you believe we deserve a chance to compete on a level playing field with the big boys, especially on our home turf. But also that the entrepreneurial spirit is not yet dead, but instead very much alive and ready to make a difference.
Thank you, Greg.
Wait, oh, one second. It was built by me.
Start with us.
And we're counting on you.
Me, us, you. Miyusu.
Thank you, Greg.
Sorry.
Great job. Thank you, family, for joining. Kelly and Aaron, now is your time for Q&A.
Great job. Thank you. I think I have a few clarifying questions. The first one is, what is the average order for takeout? And what would your margin be within that order?
So currently right now, we actually specialize in catering. So there we used to actually charge a flat rate of $10. Working with Miss Lisa, we've actually pushed that up to 12% off of the order total. Most of the local competitors are actually doing 30%. If you're a super high volume, you can get maybe as low as to 15, but most of the time it's 30. So we've also approached our first 3 clients, which were in our target market audience. And out of those 3, we've already acquired 2. And the last one is just on the fence. He wants me to drop off marketing materials to pass out, which is common for that industry. But that's why we need the funds to kind of get more of those clients that are on the fence. And then when it comes to the food deliveries, we actually still do charge a flat rate because of the lower price of the food deliveries. But we make it to where the unique side about it is that when you're dealing with most of these other platforms, they automatically take their money before those restaurants even have a chance to decide how it's spent. So with us, the restaurants get to determine how they want to charge those delivery fees. So instead of if the restaurant says, hey, that $5, let's go ahead and pass that on to the customer. That way, at the end of their bottom line, they can actually pull back more from those orders. What happens with the other ones is that they cut them out before that. So off of a $100 order, they're only getting $70. So, but their profit margins were already thin as it is. So they really can't afford it. So most of them just don't offer catering to-go orders, let alone catering, because of those price hikes.
Right. I have one more question and I'll let Aaron go. You talked about your users having to get the LLC, if I'm understanding correctly, to
Yes, ma'am.
are you going to offer service? Because getting the LLC isn't necessarily always easy.
Right. So our plan ultimately, and I didn't want to go too deep into it, but we do want to have sections on the site where you can actually go to get information about how to, kind of like if you were on a YouTube and you saw like the videos of showing you different steps. So we actually want to build, and I've already I do this now with my drivers as we build these pamphlets that we give them to, they're digital, so that they can see like all the steps that they need to do to kind of get to different steps or what different jobs require. But what we want to do is actually build in like an educational section where we can take them step by step of how they grow through Miyusu, get their business in LLC, and then go ahead into the jobs board. Because the thing with the business jobs board is that certain clients require you to have like a LLC insured, like EasyCater, our national partner, right? So they require every business to be like have multiple levels of insurance and workers' comp and stuff like that. Most people, don't understand the nuance and don't know how to get to that path. So we're trying to give them work, give them a reputation that they can build on, then show them how to now just file with the state, do the small things it takes and pay what you have to pay. But then we already have orders that are specifically tailored to businesses. And the unique part about it is most of the orders that because when they come on, they can actually sign up to work with these different companies. So these companies are already playing the middleman. But now, once they've actually made it to a business, they actually are the middleman, so they can make money pretty much, in their sleep, which is, the ultimate dream.
Thank you.
Greg, thank you for your presentation. Yes, I saw one of the comments. Definitely love the ending. One question on just like the business of delivery these days. You said you were focused on catering, and I imagine that a lot of catering is attached to businesses. People doing like lunches and they're having events and so on and so forth. I'm curious, what are you seeing in the market, and what is your hypothesis about what will happen moving forward, particularly in this pandemic as it pertains to business catering? And is that a right assumption that like a lot of the catering is really attached to businesses? Just help me understand more about that.
Okay, perfect question. So through the years of me actually working this business, the way that the catering worked before COVID was actually, you're right, it was tied to a lot of businesses. After COVID, we have seen a decrease, but the main space that is not open that has done a lot of catering is the school system. So a lot of the catering during the daytime is usually going to a lot of like offices where they have like reps that are usually like, sorry, I don't want to say like, but reps that are usually placing the orders and they're having the lunches dropped off to those businesses, those doctors' offices and stuff like of that nature. So those actually have consistently kept through, even through COVID. Those were the ones that kind of stayed in. The beauty part about it is that as we add in more clients, we're actually able to get more orders. And the upside is that we've started to pivot and actually we used to do a lot of the on-demand, like phone call right away type of, I want it within 30 minutes, regular food, Uber Eats. We transitioned because catering was at the time, I didn't have the same technical backend that I have now that supports me as far as dispatching and getting orders out to drivers, as well as customer notification. But a lot of that will be built into Miyusu. So it was very chaotic at that time and harder for me to manage. So we transitioned to something that was more like the date that they needed it was more in advance. So that way we had more time to get everything organized. Now we're transitioning back into the on-demand because we have the technology, we have the drivers, and we have people that are wanting to make money. The last thing about it though is that there's been a spike in local online, like people ordering online but wanting to support local products. The beauty side of that is once we build our marketplace, it's just like any other marketplace you see out there where you can post your products. But anytime somebody buys that option, Miyusu becomes the easy button to where automatically the system will generate an order that pops into the system with all the correct filters and puts it in the jobs board. So that way, that order now gives money to the business, creates a job for a local driver, as well as gets that customer the same product delivered daily. And that's where we tie it all back in together to making the three-part system work.
Oh, thank you. I know our time is up, and I see there are a couple of questions in the Q&A, but I know there'll be some time later on. Maybe we can get to those.
Can I just I'm sorry, I just have one clarifying thing because unfortunately my chat box I think was hiding this. You are raising how much money exactly?
So to finish building the app, we need close to $100,000 to finish building the app. We've already done 3 months of development. We need, if everything goes, if once we win today, we'll be able to continue rolling. And with fingers crossed, I want to launch it by May. That's actually around my birthday. But with any development, we know that it's all tentative, but we can actually hit that launch date of May.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Greg. And thank you to the Miyusu family. Next on our agenda is a military vet, an aunt, small business owner, and founder of Govlier, a government to business platform that creates a one-stop shop for small businesses to do businesses with state and municipal government and anchor organizations. Shakia, welcome to the stage.
Hello, Nadia. Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for being here today. My name is Shakia Kegler. State and local governments spend more than $1.7 trillion annually. And some of these funds are actually set aside for women-owned and minority-owned businesses. But without a certification, businesses can't access these funds. So the question becomes, why aren't businesses participating? Well, because the current processes are paper extensive. It requires the use of multiple non-friendly solutions that don't communicate. So for example, Broward County has a total of 31 cities. And including the county's process, that's 32 completely different processes that a business would have to follow just to do business in their own backyard. And as a result, small and minority-owned businesses are opting out, and they're only receiving 57 cents for every dollar that they could potentially earn. And government agencies, they're failing to meet their diversity goals. Again, my name is Shakia Kegler. I'm a Navy veteran who has purchased supplies, a business owner who has sold supplies to the government, and the founder and CEO of Govlier. Govlier is a business to government marketplace that is designed to make public procurement simple, equitable, and more inclusive. Our cloud-based solution transforms this fractured marketplace into a unified solution. And this allows government agencies to streamline and digitize their processes, while businesses benefit from the ability to create one profile, one time to get registered, certified, and bid on opportunities with multiple government agencies in less than 10 minutes. And it can be done using a mobile device or a computer. And this also increases the participation, which is the most important aspect of it. But in addition to being easy, it's also affordable. Our business model is a freemium model that upgrades to monthly subscription packages and contracts. We also mitigate the risk of a long government sales cycle by strategically pricing our model below competitive bidding thresholds. And future upgrades will allow us to tap into transaction fees. And this GovTech industry, it's a $99.8 billion industry that is supported by over 90,000 state and local municipalities. So in 2022, we are looking to gain 0.3% of this market with an average software cost of $11,000 annually. So this puts us at $3.3 million in revenue for that year. And we're committed to doing it because to solve a problem like this, you need a team directly at the intersection of government and technology. Our team of 4 has experience working in local government and selling to local government, but also analyzing disparities in procurement and developing complex technology solutions. So we are literally GovTech. And then of course, as you can see, we're diverse as well. And since starting GovLEA, we've had significant traction, like conducting training for small businesses at the Urban League of Broward County, or helping primes like Siemens locate subcontractors for different opportunities, and conducting a beta test with the city of Miramar and Broward College that helped us launch version 2 of our platform. So now we're focused on going to market with our software solution, and we need your help. We're seeking an investment of $200,000 pre-seed to grow our user base, expand our software capabilities, and to increase our brand and business awareness. You can also help us achieve these goals through strategic partnerships with business-focused organizations and connecting us with government agencies who are focused on making procurement more inclusive. Because at GovLEA, we understand the importance of diversity and small business ownership. And our platform not only simplifies government contracting, it increases economic opportunities for women and minority-owned businesses, but more importantly, the communities we represent. Thank you so much to the Camelback fam for this opportunity. And judges, I look forward to your questions. And if anyone is interested in connecting, here is the information to send me an email. You can go to our website and also connect with us on all social platforms. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shakia. Well done. And thank you for trying to make government sexy. I know sometimes it doesn't seem to be, but it is a necessary part of all of our lives. And if we can find a way to make that more equitable, we should certainly try to do so. I invite Kelly and Aaron to join us to ask some questions for the next 5 minutes. Once again, thank you, Shakia. Well done.
Thank you, Nadia.
You got questions, Kelly? You want me to go first? Okay. No, Shakia, thank you for your presentation. It was great to see you do your thing. One question. You know, to me, like the elephant in the room on this business ideas, and I know it's a good one because if Amazon's getting into it, that must mean that there's money to be made. But talk a little bit about that. Like, what do you feel like your competitive strategy is going to be, you know, sort of given that there are sort of bigger players who are sort of seeing so government procurement as a huge opportunity as well, particularly, you know, a company like Amazon?
Absolutely, and that's a great question. So one of the different components of what we're focusing on is that supplier diversity aspect of it and making sure that our businesses are having access to these opportunities. So organizations like, you know, Amazon can get into the space to try to make the process more simple for businesses to navigate it, but there still becomes an issue with the good old boys network of people, of the opportunities still not going to our community and still not going to the businesses that are focused in underrepresented communities. So that's our focus. So with this solution that we have, it allows businesses to get certified, because in order to get access to those set aside contracting opportunities, you have to be certified. So our platform, a business can get certified, they can use it to get registered, and they can also use it to bid on opportunities with government agencies and prime contractors. So that's pretty much the bigger difference in terms of what we're doing. We're focusing directly on that diversity aspect of it and making it more inclusive.
Yeah. Why not? So do you want to go, Kelly? One more.
My question is, and I think you might have been headed that way, Shakia, already. And by the way, great job. So procurement and government contracting, even private contracting, of course, is a huge issue in terms of diversity. And it is definitely an opportunity in which I would love to see more entrepreneurs of color and particularly Black entrepreneurs get more share of the pie. But there is obviously a barrier in terms of how we even get a seat at the table and get more of the pie. So I'm just wondering, from a top-down approach, because you can have as many certified people on one side as you want, but I'm just wondering, do you have any initiatives or plan in terms of how are you planning to infiltrate those with the contracts to ensure that they are hiring in a more equitable manner?
Absolutely. So just from more of a top-down approach of making sure that the businesses are prepared, we are helping businesses on that end actually get prepared in terms of how do they gain access to bonding capacity, how do they gain insurance, and then of course information and education around it, but also making sure that the agencies that have these goals in place, that they're actually meeting these goals. And that could be breaking down these larger contracts so that these opportunities are going to these businesses. And now from there, of course, continuously tracking and managing the data for if these contracts are being awarded. And that's how we'll be able to, from that top-down approach, make sure that we're holding these agencies and these organizations accountable.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, one other question, Myra. Shakia. What have you learned as like the biggest challenge for these companies, that are run by people of color? Is it just that they don't even know about these opportunities, and where are you seeing people looking to, and who do you feel like your key partners need to be to find them? So like, you've got this platform here. Do you feel like we have to have a whole marketing campaign to let people know about this? Are there certain key partners where, like, if you could just establish relationships with them, you'd find 50% of so the untapped companies who, if they could get certified, would have these opportunities? Like talk a little bit more about that.
Absolutely, that's a great question. So some of the organizations that are already tasked to working with minority-owned businesses, that's where we want to focus on developing strategic partnerships. So that includes organizations like NMSCC, who's already doing work on the corporate side of it to make sure businesses are accessing those opportunities. So that's already a number of firms who are already certified with that organization, but also they've shown that they've had the capacity to do the work with these agencies. So they'll work with those businesses. So that's easily, we could transfer that into work that they can do with government agencies. So outlining those type of organizations, and from, more of also working with the chambers of commerces, but also targeting agencies who have recently had disparity studies and things like that conducted as well. So that's been also, I guess, in terms of this year, that's been more of a conversation, of course, with, COVID and all of the businesses that have been hurt or left out of this space, but also with the murder of George Floyd, it had a lot more people focusing on how to find ways to really focus on economic inclusive. And of course, government procurement is one of those ways. So focusing on those areas, the ones that are already tasked with it, and following the trends of what's currently happening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Erin. Thank you, Kelly. And thank you, Shakia. Again, job well done. Thank you for sharing your vision with us. We look forward to seeing the world that you helped to create. And for our last presentation of today, we'd like to invite one of the founders of Bypass Lines to join us on the stage. Sharon is a mom, a public servant, a New Orleanian, a person who understands what it means to be busy and try to stay safe and try to utilize your time to the best of its efficiency. And so today she's here to share with us her and Spencer's organization and app, Bypass Lines. Sharon, welcome to the stage.
Thank you, Nadia. I'm going to start with a question. Have you ever stood in line so long at the food court or retail store that you contemplated leaving? Well, this is a big problem. And guess what? Merchants know this is a big problem too. In fact, data shows that 86% of customers leave the store due to long lines, just foregoing the purchase altogether. So we're about to show you a product that makes consumers happy and merchants profitable. Pre-COVID, no one wanted to stand in line because it was just inconvenient. Now during COVID, customers still don't want to stand in line because it's inconvenient, right? But now there's this added safety hazard. Nobody wants anyone coughing on them. But furthermore, merchants are looking for contactless options and to fill those empty seats that we see due to COVID restrictions. So just imagine a world where no one ever has to stand in line. I'm Sharon Flowers-Maple, CEO and mother of 3. And the last thing I want to do is stand in line or catch COVID for that matter. To solve this problem, we have created an ordering app called Bypass Lines. During COVID, we have a one-app solution to help customers easily order ahead and avoid congregating to pick up food and retail items. Plus, this helps merchants drive incremental business while not being confined to their physical space. Post-COVID, the one-app solution will help customers bypass lines at stadiums, high-rise cafeterias, hospitals, plus restaurants and retail. And this will help merchants capture the money from the 86% of people who leave those long lines. Having a slide issue.
That's okay. We'll wait for you.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
And while Sharon is getting their slides together, I just want to remind the audience, feel free to drop any questions that you have of any of these founders in our Q&A function on the Zoom webinar. Feel free to use your chat section as well to cheer our founders on, support our fellows, and give all around good tidings. Ready, Sharon?
Yes, I'm ready. Spencer
All
has one job to do, and he advancing the cloud.
Spence, you're falling down.
So these screenshots show you just how bypass lines work. Customers use the app to order items, pay for it, and then pick it up. They can even plan their visit to the mall and schedule to pick up, let's say, shoes at 11 a.m. and a burger at 1 o'clock, for example. Once the payment is confirmed, merchants receive the orders anywhere, anytime via our cloud-based dashboard. No need to visit multiple websites or download various apps. This is a one-stop shopping. You can have one app to make all your purchases and never stand in line again. The global market for mobile ordering is massive at $4.8 trillion. And the US is huge at $377 billion. And it's growing at 23% a year. We're focusing on $3 billion or 1% of the market. We understand that the mobile ordering market is extremely saturated, but our target market is a large and overlooked market segment, which are on-site facilities. By on-site facilities, we mean one or a few eateries as the only option within a large venue with a large density of people. For example, malls, hotels, hospitals, and airports.
Sharon, I'm sorry to interrupt. I really want folks to get the full picture.
Yes.
The slides are not being shown.
Huh. You don't see the slides at all?
Mm-mm. India says that Spencer is fired.
It says screen sharing has stopped as the shared window is closed. So, okay, let's start that again then.
Again, audience, thank you for your patience. Virtual world is not always an easier world. So I appreciate your grace as Sharon and Spencer get their slides up. We want to make sure that they have an opportunity to present the full story, and that you all get all of the information needed, and that the judges can make a fair decision as well.
All right, so can you guys see that?
Yep, you're good now. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, audience. Spence, you might have a job.
Okay, so the global market, as I mentioned, is huge. We covered some numbers there. So it's important to know we are not playing in the same sandbox as Uber Eats, Grubhub, DoorDash, or other curbside platforms. We are in what is known as the blue ocean. We have our own sandbox, is what that means. So why are we targeting on-site facilities? Well, it's because they have high customer density and high on-site demand, and nobody is focusing in this space. We don't need a lot of merchants to be profitable because venues like airports, convention centers, and arenas and high rises have a high concentration of transactions. Also, because we don't deliver at this time, there's a minimum user acquisition, which means and equals lean operations. And this means more money stays in the merchant pockets and ours too. What also makes us different is that we focus on both retail and restaurants. Our business model is a charge per transaction. Our current rate is 20%. After launching in March, just before COVID shutdowns, we had to pivot shortly thereafter since on-site facilities were closing. Interestingly, our pivot to onboarding independent restaurants generated over $30,000 in orders to date. We anticipate growing at an even faster rate once we return to onboarding our initial target market of on-site facilities, due to the fact that there is a higher density of people purchasing food during peak hours. We anticipate this will generate $1.7 million by the end of 2021, $3.5 million by 2022, and $8 million by the end of 2023. Right now, we are beta testing with plans to scale over the next year. And what we are super excited about is that we help merchants grow their business and revenue by 18 to 20%. We would have never dreamed or guessed that this platform could have increased their revenue by this amount. And the process is working, as we have grown transactions by over 600% compared to the previous quarter. In addition, as we all know, there's going to be a vaccine out by the spring. So this will only accelerate our efforts to move back on site. We have raised a total of $8,000 from Camelback, Capital One, Fund 17, and Urban League. This $20,000 is critical to continue our momentum to help merchants grow their business by up to 20%. We ask that you help us bring to life our vision of a world where no one ever has to stand in line again. Thank you for the opportunity to pitch, and thank you for listening in.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Spence. I'd like to invite Kelly and Aaron. Spencer, thank you for getting on screen as well for 5 minutes of Q&A. And thank you, audience, again, for your patience and your encouragement as Sharon and Spencer sorted through some unavoidable tech issues.
Great job, Sharon, and Spence, all things considered. I have a few clarifying questions. First of all, you did your beta here in New Orleans, is that correct?
That is correct.
Yes.
Where? And where did you do it? I'm sorry if I missed that.
Yes, we did it in New Orleans.
I know, but where? Who did you do it with?
Oh, okay. We have a few restaurants. So we have Neo's restaurant. We have Buku Eats. Those are two of our most popular ones. We have Addis, Ethiopian restaurant. We have Tacos and Beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have over 18 merchants right now.
Okay. And my question is, sorry, where I was going with that really was just, do you see your growth plan right now being strictly a New Orleans market, or do you plan on at least to get you through your first round of funding? I guess that's really the question.
Yeah, we certainly see expanding beyond New Orleans, but starting here because we live here. But in our conversations with one of our merchants who is in a hotel setting, that's a great example for how we can see this scaling beyond New Orleans very quickly because it's a Marriott site.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
the platform is ready to accommodate beyond the walls of, so to speak, New Orleans.
And so when you look at the model itself, in the industries that we're in, it's basically geared to go outside of New Orleans because of their footprint. So when you look at the hotel, hospitals, malls, a lot of those are governed by a particular managing entity. So with getting in with those folks, like let's say Marriott, they have those needs in other areas, and especially in New Orleans, but also in other areas in other regions.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you. I think you answered my question, which is more so from a growth standpoint. Do you see your strategy for your first growth post beta, or even during beta, to still do your proof of concept to be specifically in New Orleans? But is that I guess a yes or no?
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Sharon and Spencer, great job. One question to start. I know some of the model is built on sort of high people density experiences, whether they be like conventions, sports arenas, airports, so on and so forth. What is your prediction on like what's the timeline for those things sort of get back to capacity in the way that they were given post-COVID? And do you see any other opportunities, if those, depending on how those things play out? So for instance, as you all were talking, one of the things I was thinking about was, are there opportunities to have partnerships with, and I think you mentioned like high-rise buildings, but like I know that's like could be a feature if you're moving into kind of like a building, like, hey, we have a partnership where like, you can get whatever delivery that you want. It's like you sort of like are able to do those kind of things, particularly given that people are spending more time at home. I'm curious, do you see any other opportunities like that, given that it may take some time with COVID for some of these other things to come back?
That's so true. That's a great question, because what we did learn relatively recently is that a lot of the hotel restaurants are not coming back. So there's a need there because they have guests coming in, but there's nowhere for them to eat, so to speak. They're not doing room service no more, and they can't just go down to the first floor to get food. So there's a niche for us even in those places, because they are welcoming us. Like we've created a directory where we list the restaurants in the area with a QR code. So we're giving those to the restaurant concierge. I mean, it's not restaurant concierge, the concierge at the hotel, so that they can pass out to their guests. And the merchant that we're working with that's in a hotel, we're actually talking with them about putting QR codes in their system. So when someone checks in, they don't like the idea of having all these papers to give them, or having a lot of papers in their rooms. But when they walk in, the TV's on, and they could be one of the screens that rotate is having the QR code and a notification that they can order if they do have a restaurant in the in that hotel. They can order just by scanning the QR code.
And other opportunities we're looking at right now is the hospitals. You have an influx, although people are being home, there are still those essential businesses that they're not going to go down no matter what, right? So it's one of those where we're getting a lot of excitement from that arena, from that industry, where they have workers and they have that one eatery, and they have those other opportunities with gift shops, where folks are trying to find ways to create some level of camaraderie with each other and still be able to stay safe and be able to get their items right away. So it's what we're finding is that industry is longing for a software or some type of tool that can allow them to still be able to have operations and still stay safe by just grabbing and picking it up. So the whole money exchange and things is going away. So we're primed to be in that position right now.
I think one more thing to add too, in terms of opportunities, We are looking to partner with food service distributors or providers like Aramark, Centerplate, Sodexo. And a lot of them are like everywhere. So they're in universities, they're in the convention centers and the superdomes. So leveraging those partnerships, we can grow with them. So as those larger venues start to open up, we already have like a partnership and a relationship with those food service businesses.
Yeah, thank you. I know time is up. Sorry.
Really? Wow.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Spencer. Thank you for being flexible, audience, once again, while we sorted through some tech issues. Kelly and Aaron are going to go off screen to deliberate to figure out who will be the winner of our $20,000 investment from Camelback Ventures. During this time, we would love to have all of our founders come back on camera so that we can answer some questions from the audience. Hello, fellows. How are you all feeling?
Hey.
Ecstatic. Glad it was over. It was a long journey, but it was a great one.
All right, you all did a great job. Super happy for you all to get to this point, and can't wait to hear what our judges say. So from our audience members, couple questions. First one for Greg. Do you see this being offered in any other states?
Well, that's
that
the
question
perfect.
comes from Gail Harris.
I'm sorry, but yes, that's the perfect opportunity. As I stated earlier, that we have a client, EasyCater, who's already a national partner. I've already spoken with their management department, their higher up levels, and once we launch the app, we're able to get any zip codes that we require. So as we strategically market and start to move forward, we can tell them what orders we need, what zip codes we need to unlock, and the very next day I'll have orders. So we've actually already solved that chicken and the egg problem. So once we actually activate a new city, our main focus will be getting more drivers. And one of the things that I've learned over the years is to make sure that we are already ahead of the curve of demand. So as we add on drivers, then we'll continue to add on more businesses in those new territories. But Miyusu has the DNA of a social network platform. So eventually it'll be around the entire country.
Thank you, Greg. Scott Edwards says, great job, everyone. You have quite a bit to be excited about, and I cannot wait until your businesses grow further. So thank you, Scott, for all of those well wishes. We appreciate you all being here with us. For Sharon and Spencer, are you all planning to do any fundraising outside of this pitch?
A great question.
Yeah, great question.
Can I answer?
Yeah, go ahead.
He loves talking money. Is that right? So this month we are launching our Kickstarter campaign. So if anyone is interested in contributing, we are trying to raise $33,000. And for those who are not familiar with Kickstarter, what that means is actually a fundraising platform. We can certainly share more information. I hate to send a flood of emails to Nadia, but like,
flood me with the emails. Okay, what I'm here for.
Yes, we would love to share the link once it goes live with you all if you are interested in contributing. But that's our next fundraising move is getting the Kickstarter live. It should go live sometime this week.
Yeah, and it'd be nice to remind all of our listeners too that no contribution is too small. So if you want to get involved, get involved. Every little bit counts. And so feel empowered to be a part of the change that has been represented here today.
Absolutely.
Question for
add, Nadia,
I'm sorry, go ahead, Sharon.
One other thing I would add too is that the app and the platform is live. So if anybody's hungry, they can use the app or go to a particular merchant and order some food. That's one way to fundraise too, because we get paid from that revenue.
Good point. Shakia, you're chiming in. GovLIA is live as well. And there's a question for you, Shakia. Can you talk a little bit about how your revenue is structured? I think you mentioned a subscription model, but we know you have 2 customers. So can you walk us through that?
Absolutely. So it is subscription based, but it's a freemium model. So it's free for businesses. So it'll be mostly small to medium businesses who can access and utilize the platform for free. And then for an upgraded version, the prime contractors can use the platform to pre-qualify and vet vendors, but they can also post and advertise subcontracting opportunities within the platform. And it gives them access to additional licensing. And then on that third tier, and that was $8.99 per month. And on the third tier for the package, it's $32.99 per month, where they actually have access to post opportunities, but they have a dedicated account executive who'll be able to support if they need help with locating subcontractors for any work. And then on the opposite side, on that government aspect of it, same style subscription package is free for them to sign up and advertise solicitations within the platform. And then they upgrade to $8.99 per month for to create custom registration applications, custom certification applications, and to post and advertise opportunities within the platform as well. And then of course they also have another package that's $32.99 per month. And from any customizations that we may need to make, that's where the contracting portion comes into place. We'll gain contracts with organizations for any customizations or additional features that may need to be added to the platform.
Thank you, Shakia. Question for Myra. So this mobile app is focusing on the Afro-Caribbean Susu. How will the crowdfunding component on the app affect its users?
So the overall goal for DollarPod is not to just be a co-savings app, but this is a wealth building tool. So the point of this is actually to have our savers eventually become funders. So what we want to do is we want to put everything kind of in one place. And for the crowdfunding side, we want to focus on startups, but also businesses that want to scale, specifically looking at Black women in tech. So between 2009 and 2018, Black women in tech entrepreneurs received 0.06% of VC funding. And we know that we are in a tech-driven society, but really globally, AI is the future, right? So we're gonna have so many startups showing up in the tech sector. We need funding. So this platform can help us to achieve that. We want to make sure that we're establishing community, understanding how our money works to make our money work for us, to then allow us to then put that money somewhere, which will be that crowdfunding side. So we're not just gonna be saving money forever. We're eventually gonna make our money work for us.
Thank you, Myra. It's a beautiful world that you paint, girl. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. Bypass lines, Sharon and Spencer, can you, Mia Schneckseider Davis, excuse me for butchering your name right now. My tongue got twisted. But Mia asked, how many customers do you currently have on Bypass lines?
Oh, so currently we have right at about 18. We've expanded to Texas as well. This week we're onboarding Marriott in New Orleans, which is the Saint Hotel, and we're expanding. I mean, it's going crazy right now. We're excited. We're having conversations with a lot of our partners. Hopefully, in the next couple weeks, some of the Sodexos and things like that. They're excited about our platform because they're into managing. We're into connecting, and the one thing that they're seeing is a huge benefit to create a better user experience with what we have. So, and also in this current environment, staying safe as well. So with the level of movement and momentum that we have, we're excited about the future. We're excited about what we're doing. So, Sharon, you have anything?
Yeah, I would just add that we have about 1,200 end users. So certainly trying to grow that side of it too. But yeah, we're excited about the growth that we're seeing.
Shameless plug, please download the app.
No shame in that. And so that's a nice segue to our next question, which is for the entire group. What is one phrase that you're looking toward in 2021? What is top of mind for you all? What gets you excited? What's getting you out of bed to keep pushing for that calendar to flip to 2021? Let's start with Shakia, Myra, Greg, and then Sharon.
I was really hoping you'd start with someone else because
you were smiling so pretty. I was like, surely she wants me to come to her. So you know what? We'll give it to your colleague Myra, and we'll come back to you.
So listen, my slogan for 2021 is put your power where your pot is, okay? That is, I promise y'all gonna see some sweatshirts, some t-shirts, it might be on the back of some pants, like back in the day we used to have Juicy Couture pants. We're gonna have it on the back. Put your power where your pot is. It is time for group economics. It is time for collective works. We have to help ourselves. No one is coming to save us. That is just what it is. As Indigenous peoples all across the world, we have been doing this for hundreds of thousands of years, whether it's been a Candina in Mexico, a Hui in China, a partner in Jamaica, a hen in Haiti. We have been doing this thing. So listen, it's our time. We coming to save ourselves. Put your power where your pot is. That's my thing for 2021.
Thank you, Myra. Shakira, you ready? Nope, I'm going to Greg. Greg.
Oh,
what
yes.
does 2021 hold for you?
I am ready. Nadia, it is MVP. You know, so pretty much for me, it is finally time for the Miyusu app to finally break hold. The beautiful part about it is that I was telling a lot of people going into 2020 once COVID hit is that if you're sustainable, you can find a way to make it out of this on the back end, you're going to be one of the companies that will thrive. The beautiful part about this is that if you know about the Jobs Act, anybody that's watching this right now, that 100,000 that we raising, if you want that Jay-Z money, baby, let's get it in you. So I'm telling you, it ain't go. Hey, we only got one round, but you better get in now. All right, so MVP, let's go.
All right, thank you, Greg. Shakia, we're back to you, girl. It's your turn.
There we go. I'm ready now. It took me a little minute.
That's okay.
But, 2021 is hold people accountable. This year, we had a lot of people pledging stuff, had a lot of people saying, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. This year in 2022 is focusing on making sure that what you said you was going to do, you're doing it. So
hashtag no excuses. No excuses.
I'm just saying.
Get on the app. Get on the app. Do what you say you're going to do.
Look, hold up. Like Spence said, shameless plug. The app, the web app is actually live. If you have a business, you can go sign up on our platform. So
thank you, Shakia. And Sharon and Spencer, 2021. Spence, you the hype man. You coming in for 2021? What's up?
Let me tell you, the game ain't ready. Game ain't ready. We on a different level. And I'm gonna just say you that 2021 is bringing some amazing things for bypass lines. We're check this out. We got video ordering getting ready to start. No, game changer for the small local folks. We got influencers all involved. It's just going to be a whole nother level. And we're just looking for folks to just get on board, to see our momentum, see what we're doing. Nobody's working as hard. Nobody's working and talking as much, especially, you can't out-talk me. So I'm gonna
I just got notification that our judges are ready. We have a ton of other wonderful questions that came in. Just some thoughts as we leave. Scott asked, what does the world look like in 5 or 10 years? 5 to 10 years if you're successful. And then Elizabeth wants to point out to all of our audience members that may not be in the Florida area or New Orleans area, you all can still be engaged. These apps have the potential to be national and even global. So we want to encourage you that while we are local economies focused, because small businesses add to our local economies, we want to make sure that local economies is what makes up our entire nation. And so these are just efforts that start at home and really have an impact much beyond that. And so I saw Aaron come online. Aaron, I'm going to turn it over to you. I believe that Tanya wants to take a picture in this moment. So if everyone's screen could be turned on, I would greatly appreciate it. And y'all all look good. Y'all look good.
Great.
Cal?
There's a lot of pressure here, figuring out the fate of these 4 companies in 12.5 minutes.
Aaron, if anybody can do it, you and Kelly can. I have full faith and confidence. Tanya, do you want to get the picture now? All right, everybody look pretty. Audience, thank you for amusing us with this moment. All right, I'll assume that Tanya got it. And Aaron, over to you, sir.
Excellent, excellent. Well, in the 12.5 minutes that we were gone, we have chosen the winner and solved world peace. But we'll start with the winner. And just before I get into it, you know, congratulations to all of the participants for you know, getting to this point, and you know, just even applying to Camelback. I know it's been a long journey, and what we thought we were going to do this year has not actually been exactly what we've done, but you've stuck with us, and so we appreciate you and your effort and what you're building. In terms of what we decided, so what we decided to do, given that we had $20,000, was to award $20,000 prize to GovLIA. We're just super compelled by your pitch, Shakia, and I think the market opportunity, particularly in GovTech, and just what this would mean not only for your company, but for the hundreds, thousands of small businesses, you know, across the country, and what that would mean. I want to be able to sort of support your vision in building that out. I also called in a CEO audible, and made the decision that, you know, businesses don't run on love and positive words; they run on money. And so I've made the decision that the other 3 companies will also get $5,000 from Camelback to support your vision and what you're doing.
And that is phenomenal. Thank you so much. This is just, yeah, beyond, right? Shakia, congratulations. Greg, congratulations. Myra, congratulations. Sharon and Spencer, congratulations. And we are excited to see a world with you all in it. To our audience members, thank you all for sticking around. Thank you for all the positive vibes. Thank you for your interest in Camelback. Thank you for being part of our fam. So to all of our new friends and old, we are extremely grateful to spend this time with you today. Aaron, any closing thoughts from you?
I'm going to end on the high of giving out money. Just leave it right there.
And with that, our program has concluded. We will be in touch with all of the details about how to get your coins. So look for those emails from us, respond to them quickly. And it's been a pleasure working with all of you. So happy to induct you all into the Camelback family, into our alumni network, where the work continues. And we're here for you through the duration. And we look forward to all of the continued success for each of you individually and collectively. With that, our program is closed. Take good care. If you're celebrating the holidays, happy holidays. Stay safe, keep your families close, and support our businesses. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Nadia. Great job. Great job, Shakia. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yes,
Congratulations, y'all.
This is not the end, y'all. I'm ready to keep going.
And thank you, Aaron.
Y'all made Aaron come up with extra 15K. That's impressive.
No, it was well worth it.
That's impressive. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Good touch seeing everybody.
Bye-bye.